Are you serious? Are you serious? Well, I'm very serious, and actually, we probably all should be very serious. This situation with the death of Pope Benedict the 16th reminds us again of the Saint Malachy Prophecy. Let me tell you all about it here in just a second, but first, let's put a shout out right now for www.noblegoldinvestment.com. That's www.noblegoldinvestment.com. Noble Gold Investments is pleased to announce, to let you know that gold was the best investment class for the year 2022. That's according to long-term trends of .net. That's longtermtrends.net. Gold actually outperformed the S&P 500, the Dow Jones, and Bitcoin during the year 2022. So what are we waiting for? Because 2023, gold's already rise. It's on the rise. It was $1,800 an ounce at the beginning of December. It's over $1,900 and something an ounce right now. I think it's going to hit well, Bank of America says almost $2,100 an ounce. I think it's going to go to $2,300, $2,400 an ounce. Here's what I'm going to say. If you open a gold IRA at noblegoldinvestments.com or a silver IRA at noblegoldinvestments.com, they will give you one fourth of an ounce of a pure American Gold Eagle coin that's worth over $500. It's 1/4 of an ounce of American Gold Eagle coin. What a collector's item. And they'll give it to you for free if you set up a gold or silver IRA worth $50,000 or more. You can't go wrong with noblegoldinvestments.com. Pick up the phone and call Colin Plume or one of his associates at 877-646-5347. That's 877-646-5347. Click on the link below. It'll take you straight there. And tell them Pastor Paul sent you over there. All right? You'll be glad you did. Your 401k needs to roll over into something that is going to be more suitable for you. Now, here's the deal. We know there's been the death of Pope Benedict the 16th. He resigned back in 2013. I predicted he would in my book, Jerusalem Jihad, and he did. But there hadn't been a pope resign in 600 years. But the Holy Spirit was leading and giving us revelation on this, along with, in my book, but also Tom Horn wrote a book in which he predicted it. And that's kind of interesting when you think it's been 600 years, but you could see that, in the handwriting on the wall. The world wanted somebody else. Benedict was a conservative, very conservative, traditionalist. He wanted to keep things just as they were as it relates to the way the church doctrine of the Vatican. He wanted to keep it, the traditional doctrine of the church. He did not want to move the Catholic Church into this progressive liberal ideology. So he was in the way. So he resigned due to saying he was too old, although we know he lived 9 more years. He just died at the age of 95. But there was a prophecy that came out that was actually given in the 1100s by a man by the name of, they call him Saint Malachy, in which he prophesied that there would be 112 more popes, and that the 112th pope to come would be the last pope of the end of days. Well, Pope Francis, Benedict was 111. Pope Francis became that 112th pope. This is quite extraordinary, guys, when you think about it, because this prophecy was amazing. And here's the thing about it. This pope, this last pope, was to be kind of known as Peter the Roman, and that he would guide the church through the great times of tribulation on the earth. Let me read this prophecy. After the announcement of Pope Benedict XVI resignation in 2013, many people started talking about the prophecy of the popes from St. Malachy. Here's what happened. His prophecy of the popes was this. In an alleged private revelation given to him, in a prophecy consisted a list of 112 short phrases, enigmatic mottos in Latin that are supposed to represent the next 112 popes from St. Malachy's time onward. St. Malachy was the Archbishop of Armagh, Ireland, in the 1100s. And reportedly, he went and he visited Rome, in which he received the vision of the future popes, and he wrote them down. Now, the prophecy was stored in the Vatican and was not released and was not published until 1595. So the Vatican held on to it for 447 years. When Malachy died, St. Malachy died in 1148. They took his prophecy and they put it in the archives of the Vatican, and they sealed it there. They kept it there. They did not release it until 1595, after 447 years since his death. But how long would it take to get the 112th Pope? Not until 2013, after the resignation of Pope Benedict. And then Pope Francis would be named and to take over, which that resignation was so weird because there hadn't been one in 600 years. Why was the world in such a rush to get Pope Francis, a Jesuit? There had never been a Jesuit Pope in the history of the 2,000 years of the Vatican. There had never been a Jesuit, because Jesuits are different. They're not traditionalists. They are more progressive. They do question things. They do ask questions. They also been known as kind of the strong branch of the Catholic Church, carrying out assassinations and some of the dirty work. So there had never been a pope who was a Jesuit until Pope Francis. And he comes in 9 years earlier. Because actually, think about it. The death of Benedict would start. We should be right now getting ready to have, after the funeral of Benedict, we should be having what's called a conclave, in which a pope would be chosen. And that would have been the 112th. But the 112th is already there. Matter of fact, for the first time in the history of all the popes, never has a pope preached the funeral of a pope. So that's another weird thing we're going to have. And it's going to happen on Thursday, January 5th, which those of you who've been following our ministry, you know that's the day that Mike Around the World says that wave from outside of our solar system is going to hit our solar system during the heliosphere, the heliosphere, way out there. And it's going to happen on Thursday, the same day, January 5th, that Pope Benedict's funeral will take place. And the Pope's funeral will not take place inside St. Peter's Basilica, but instead they're going to take his body outside and set it out on the stone steps, which that's got a lot of eyebrows being raised if you know about Mike Around the World's dream. Is this the dream? Well, Pope Benedict is gone, but Pope Francis is already in place, of which he is the 112th Pope. And according to the prophecy, here's what it says. The passage reads like this. Peter the Roman, who will nourish the sheep in many tribulations when they are finished. The city of 7 hills, that would be Rome, will be destroyed, and the dreadful judge will judge his people. So according to this prophecy, there would only be 112 popes, and that Peter the Roman, okay, which is, we know that that was just his name, his title he gave him, Peter the Roman. We know that Saint Peter is buried there in Rome. But, so in other words, this pope will nourish the sheep in many tribulations. When they are finished, the city of 7 hills will be destroyed, and the dreadful judge will judge his people. This prophecy sounds like that this is the last pope, and this was it. This was his last pope in his prophecy, 112 prophecies. And that this pope will be leading the church during a time of tribulation and will end with the destruction of the city of Rome. And that destruction comes by the hands of the judge. The end. So we're back talking about it. I've talked about this before when Francis first became the pontiff, but I'm bringing it up again because now Benedict's gone, and we're in this era. And what's really wild is we're in this era where God had already spoke to me about 2 years ago that, hey, when we get to 2023, Paul, I want you to know that there's going to be 7 years of turmoil, 7 years of sorrow on the earth, a time like we've never seen before, leading us up to the 2030 agenda of the United Nations. Part of the turmoil is going to be man-made. Some of it's going to be God-made. Some of it's going to be just disobedience by man. And God did not tell me that this was the tribulation period. He did not say that to me in prayer and in speaking to me in the Spirit of the Lord. But he did say it would be 7 years of great sorrow, 7 years of great peril. And so it's not going to be for everybody. The church, though, will be triumphant. Christians will be blessed. But the world, and it was key because when I was praying about it, the Lord kept saying, the world will be in sorrow, but not my people. He kept saying to me, the world, in this prayer, that's what I kept hearing in my spirit, the world will have great sorrow and great peril, but not my people. So this is very important. Maybe the rapture is going to happen, but I didn't get that impression. I got the impression that it was 7 years of trepidation, 7 years of persecution, maybe, yes. I'm sure that'll be going on, no doubt about that. But it was more about great sorrow on the earth, great peril on the earth, that the world would be in itself, the people, the world system would be in a state of chaos. That's very important. I don't think people really realize the things that happen. The world will have great sorrow and great peril, but not my people. That is the exact, thank you for putting that up there for me. That is the word I got from the Lord. There will be 7 years that the world will have great sorrow and great peril, but not my people. And that's got to be the church of Jesus Christ. Okay, so I want to prepare you for this. Look, tomorrow I'm going to be a guest on Bishop Larry Ragland's The Big Picture. It's what's called the Kingdom Intelligence Report, and it's usually always Tuesday afternoon around 2 or 2:30 in the afternoon. It'll be airing over there at Larry Ragland's YouTube channel called The Big Picture, so you don't want to miss that. We're going to be talking about some big time prophetic things that are happening in the world. So yeah, we're living in the last days, guys. We're living in the end times, and I think people need to realize it. Give your life to Jesus Christ, folks. Don't wait around. We're running out of time.
God, I'm so scared for this crooked generation. You even find faith in the earth where you bring down revelation. Forgive us now the sins of our youth, worshiping the idols that knew everything but the truth. Teach us how to uncorrupt our minds. Show us now while we still have the time. We need you, Yeshua. Holy, holy, hallelujah. We need you, Yeshua. Holy, holy, hallelujah. We abandon everything to follow you, our King. We throw our gold and silver in the street.
How much will we see before the fire falls? Lord, could this really be the last altar call? We need your blood over the doorposts of our hearts. Anoint us with your fiery love as the praise and worship starts. We need you, Yeshua. Holy, holy, hallelujah. We need you, Yeshua. Holy, holy, hallelujah. We abandoned everything to follow you, our King. We throw our gold and silver in the streets. Oh, we abandon everything to follow you, our King. We throw our gold and silver in the streets. We abandoned everything to follow you, our King. We throw our gold and silver in the street. We abandoned everything to follow you, our King. We throw our gold and silver in the street. Give your life to Jesus Christ, folks. Time is literally, the prophecies are jumping off the page. We can barely get this year started, and it's already beginning. I'll be back with some more current world events and how they relate to biblical prophecy. No, Benedict was not a Jesuit. I said Pope Francis was the Jesuit. You're right. Benedict was not. Pope Francis was the first Jesuit pope in the history of the Vatican. So yeah, you are in a different era, and this is now the 112th Pope is in play, and that's Saint Malachy's prophecy. Now, it's quite interesting. Here you are living in the time of the 112th Pope, and look at the time we're in. Just saying. I don't know. I'm just saying. It's the last days.